Well, if there was ever an award for a car which is very, very talented, it has lots of abilities, but unfortunately cannot turn those abilities into sales success, then the Renault Kiger would be one of the top 5 contenders. Yes, this is one of the best compact SUVs out there. It's great in terms of the value, great in terms of the space, great in terms of the engine performance because it's a turbo engine. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't buy this car. Very few numbers sell. That's probably because people like to go with the safe option, or maybe people aren't aware what this car has to offer and what its abilities really are all about. But before you say that this is going to be a paid review or it seems like a paid review, let me just tell you that whenever I've reviewed the Kiger, even the last gen version of the car, it's always been positive, always been very nice because this is a very capable car, and I'll tell you all about it and the updated version in today's video. My name is Ashish Masi. If you come to this channel for the first time, then please do like, share and subscribe, and also head to our website carbike360.com. Well, so if you see the face of the car, it's been completely changed. It's a complete makeover on the face. Now let's begin from the bottom part. You see multiple elements over here on the bumper. It's a very heavily sculpted bumper. You also, of course, get these cornering lamps over here. You get the headlamps over here, and this unit looks more or less the same like the early version of the car. You also get the LEDs over here like the early version of the car, but this center portion and of course the logo has been modified quite a bit, and the hood now, the bonnet now gets this power dome in the middle, which just gives you that little bit of aggression, little bit of sportiness, and of course that bold look that makes this car stand out from a sea of other compact SUVs. In fact, if you look at it, it doesn't really look like a compact SUV. It looks like a mid-size SUV. Even though it's under 4 meters in length, it looks as if it's slightly longer than that. Now, if you see the side profile, again more or less the same, but you do get this new turbo badging over here, and you also get a new look and new feel for the 16-inch wheels. The alloy wheel design is different, and of course the side view mirrors now get cameras in them because this car has a camera on this side, on that side, and of course at the back as well, along with a new list of features which I'll tell you once we jump inside. Now, if you go on the back side, we'll turn the car around and show you how the look of the back is as well. Well, let me quickly show you the boot of the Kiger because this car's boot has been one of the biggest selling points of this car. Now, once you open it up, you can see that it's a nice and spacious boot. It's a very square boot in design, and what that means is that you can load in a lot of luggage into this. 2 big large suitcases can easily go in, and 1 small bag can go in, so your weekend getaway is taken care of. The only thing is there's a huge sill over. It's a very deep and huge sill, so whatever bags you're loading in, you'll have to really pick them up and put your bag into it. You can't slide them in and pull them out, but that's something that you also find on the Fronx. Yes, if you think the Fronx is better, no, it's exactly the same. And even the Nissan Magnite, a car which this car shares its components with, same platform basically, has the same kind of issue. The Brezza, the Nexon, as well as the Kia Sonet though are slightly better because they have a easy system where you can pull it in and pull it out, so it's a flat loading area. But this one, of course, you have to use your back because you have to lift things out and put them in. Other than that, it's a nice and spacious boot. I'll give a respectable score of 8 out of 10. Now, time for me to take this car out on track and rev it up like the rest of the journalists doing behind me. Well, so I'm inside the cabin of the new Renault Kiger. Now, in terms of the overall design of the gauges, it's exactly the same. So you get complete digital gauges, lots of information, tire pressure monitor, distance to empty, and the same kind of paraphernalia you got in the other car, the older car. You also get automatic headlamps, you also get cruise control. The way that you use cruise control is a little odd because you have to press this button here to activate it, then you have to set it from here. So that can be a little confusing for first time users, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite okay. You also get this, 4-vision camera or bird's eye view camera. You don't, of course, get a top angle view, but you can get the 4 edges of the car, so it's not really a bird's eye view camera. You also get now cool front seats as well as ESP, and the touchscreen is decent to operate. It's not the best in terms of the usage. It's a little laggy still, but is it better than the Fronx and the Brezza system? No, it's not. The Fronx and Brezza still have a better system, but this one is quite okay to use and no complaints considering the price of the car. The new thing on the car, of course, is that you get leatherette seats over here, so that's something new. The earlier version had only regular cotton upholstery, but this one is now leatherette. You also get this huge box over here where you can keep a lot of stuff. Driving modes, that's something that the Fronx does not offer, and these modes actually do work. I've driven this car, I've kept this car in my long-term fleet, and these modes do work. Ambient lighting, again, something the Fronx doesn't get. So yes, lots of features which this car has additionally, which the Fronx doesn't. But which one do you prefer? You can let me know in the comments below. The seat comfort on this car is quite good in isolation, but again, if you compare it with the Fronx, it's just half a point behind. It's not as good as on the Fronx. Lots of places to keep your odds and ends as well, and just in general, the cabin ambience is quite good. The overall plastic fit and finish though could have been better, and as you can see, it's not really the best in terms of the fittings as well overall, but still generally good job done by Renault in terms of upgrading the interiors, just that the overall fit and finish could have been slightly better. Let's jump in the back seat now and see how good that is. I'll give the front end of the cabin a respectable score of 8.5 out of 10. Well, so now I'm inside the cabin of the Renault Kiger. Now in terms of the knee room, it is quite good. Headroom is also more than sufficient. You also get this big armrest over here, which you can pop out and keep a couple of beverages or your cell phone and wallet. And unfortunately, there is no central passenger's headrest, so that is a bit of a surprise. What's also a bit of a surprise is the fact that the C-pillar is completely covered, so you don't have too much light coming in. There's no quarter glass at the back, so sometimes on those long distance journeys you can get a little irritated because it can get a little claustrophobic. But other than that, I think it's a nice and decent place to be in. Your hip and knee angle is at a nice 90 degree. You get your own cabinets over here, or maybe places where you can keep your file, and the AC vents are also there. But the USB point C is also missing. That charging port is missing. You only get a 12 volt charging socket, so no old school, no USB type C. That's something which is a bit of a surprise, but other than that, I think it is a fair place to be. I'll give a respectable score of 8 out of 10. Well, so here I'm driving the Renault Kiger now, and I have to say that this car impresses immediately with the ride comfort. The ride comfort on this car is very good indeed. If you've ever sat inside a Renault Duster, then you will be knowing what I'm talking about. Yes, it's not as good as the Duster. It's still maybe half a step or one step below the Duster in terms of outright ride comfort. That car's ride was completely flat. This one comes pretty close to it, and some odd bumps and potholes which are here on the track are there, which we're trying to go into. But even then, they're not disturbing the car, they're not disturbing the occupant, so it's quite a good ride in that sense. High-speed stability also is quite good, which has always been a big forte with Renault cars, especially with the Kiger. So the high-speed stability up to 100 kph is also quite good. And the steering wheel, it's neither very light and neither is it too heavy, so it's got the right amount of weight in it, but it's not very feelsome. It's not a very direct feeling steering wheel, so that's something that maybe could have been improved. But I think customers in this segment, customers mostly want a light feeling steering wheel, so they don't have to put too much of an effort, and in that department I think Renault seems to have done a decent job. But I would have really liked it to be a little more feelsome, especially if you're someone who drives a lot on the village roads, because this car is perfect for village roads, because on broken and badly pastured roads this car really does a very good job with the overall ride quality. So that's something which a lot of customers will appreciate. What you'll also appreciate is the turbo engine, because the turbo engine's performance is really very good. It feels very peppy, feels nice and lively, especially if you use the sport mode instead of the normal or eco mode. Then it gets into its own skin and it just drives in a fantastic manner. Especially if you use the sport mode, it just changes game, and it just changes its game face and gets into a different level of performance, and it just gives you better performance, better drivability, and just feels much more lively to drive than it does in the normal mode. So that's something that maybe you can also check out and also work on. The gearbox, well, there's a CVT option which I would definitely advise you to take, because that's a hassle-free gearbox. The manual one is decent, but the throws are very, not very good. They're very notchy throws. They're not typical Japanese throws which you expect, because this car is, remember, shared with the Nissan. The Nissan Magnet is exactly the same car, so there are some Japanese elements as well on this car, but it's not like a Honda or a Hyundai or a Maruti gearbox. It's very notchy. Throws aren't very good, and there's no fun in changing gears basically. Apart from that, what else is there? The visibility is quite good. You get a good view over here. Of course, there's also that camera which you can always operate when you're driving this car, and of course the rear view mirrors are also nice, large and chunky. And the engine noise, well, Renault said that they have worked on it, they have controlled it quite a bit. I'm not too sure if they've done a big job on it, but definitely there's a slight improvement from the older version of the car. But it's not really the quietest of turbo engine cars. If you push it and it goes above around, let's say 3000 rpm, there's a certain roughness on the engine, and there's certain gruffness about the engine also. There's a loud sound which comes out, and it's not very annoying, it's just that it's there. Is the Fronx as loud as this car? Not really. It's not as loud as this car, and I think the Fronx is slightly better in terms of the outright power delivery as well, the power management as well. This one could have been slightly better in the department, but I think for everyday average users, they never really rev the engines. They just take it from home to work and then they come back, so for them it is quite a good package. Overall, what's my verdict? Well, I'll give it a good score of 8.5 out of 10, because of the price, the kind of performance you get, the different driving modes you get, and of course the ride comfort that you get is genuinely quite good. The only thing is that the refinement could have been better, and as I said, if they had given you a better gearbox on this car, then I would have definitely given it a higher score, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. That's something that could have been done if they had given you a slightly better gearbox as well as a slightly more refined petrol engine. Nonetheless, 8.5 out of 10. Now let's stop the car and give you a definitive summary report. Well, so what's my final verdict with the new Magnite? No, it's not the Magnite, it's the Kiger. But if you compare this car with the Magnite, you're planning to buy the Magnite or this one, you're a little confused which one you should buy, then my vote will be with the Renault Kiger, simply because of the way it looks on the outside. It's very aggressive, very dominant. Also because it has some additional features, and because it also has very unique features like cool front seats. It also has those cameras all across, which the Magnite still doesn't have. So yes, some features are extra. The looks are aggressive. That said, if you're somebody who seeks performance, if you want value for money, if you want the automatic gearbox, a CVT gearbox, hassle-free, then also it's a good product, because the value for money quotient with this car is quite strong, and that makes it a very good deal. The only thing is that the interior quality could have been slightly better, and maybe the ride could have been slightly better, but every car has its positives and negatives. You can't get everything in the same package. Overall though, it's a nice, well-rounded package which just needs a little more polish, but still I'll give it a good score of 89 out of 100. It's bye for now, and thanks for watching.